to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. And get a roll call, please.
Coley.
Here.
Martin. Here. Coney. Here. Grady. Here. Holt.
Here. All right, we have 5 members currently present with ballots currently absent. We do have a public hearing set for 6:05. We will wait until 6:05 for that public hearing. However, we can go ahead and move on to any citizens' participation. Before we do that, we can make a motion to approve the agenda. Motion by Holt, second by Grady. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Is everybody here for citizens' participation? Yes, ma'am. Please, come on up. What can we do for you?
My name is Renee Martin. I've been a citizen of Cuba for approximately 5 years now, and I am also a member of the Chamber of Commerce. The only thing I want to bring up is we are doing a city garden, community garden, not a city garden, behind 5A or 5-star building. And I was going to ask the city's help in the matter also, if they could kindly participate by donating water to be watered during the spring, the summer, and the fall. And that's all I have to ask you now, so you guys can discuss it later.
So have somebody come over and water the...
Well, if we could get a spigot, like down in the ground where we can put a lock on it and unlock it every time we water the garden, that way it's not being used when it's not supposed to be used.
Right.
And it would be specifically for watering the garden.
Sure.
Is this in that lot where they tore the house down?
No, they didn't tear a house down. It was an empty lot behind 5-star buildings. They own the lot. They donated the lot to us. We've already had it plowed. And I looked at the lot on Monday. We plowed it on Friday.
Who owns the lot now?
The guy who owns Chris.
Okay.
So, is this right on the corner of Spencer? And
Yeah. No, not Spencer.
It's right behind
Margaret and Albert.
Behind the Fleming building?
Yes.
Where the junkyard was?
There's one side of the lot that's nothing but rocks, piles of rocks.
And old trucks? And
Yeah.
parts and
We got the part that was grass.
So who is, when you say we, who, is this the chamber? Who is doing this?
Well, I'm part of the chamber. The chamber is, I've spoken about it in the chamber, and through that, I started getting calls left and right. I'm supposed to speak to the 4-H. I'm supposed to speak to the FFA, just several organizations.
I guess my question is Lance. I mean, it's obviously on somebody else's private property that they're donating a piece of their property to allow the city card to go on. How do we get water there that's not attached to like their meter, but that they don't own, we own, but it's on their property? Is kind of where I would be confused.
I have no idea. You're gonna have to
Talk to the water guys.
So we have, like, I guess you'd have to do like a city meter. They put a city meter on it, it's a non-billable meter. So we can still keep track of it, but it doesn't get billed to anybody.
Okay.
I have a question.
That way you would be able to write it off on your city taxes as a donation.
I have
It
a
is a
question.
Well, okay, state taxes.
Who,
Nothing? Okay.
community garden, how's that work?
Most of the produce from the community garden would be going to the 3 food pantries in Crawford County. Other than that, it will be dispersed to the people who are working in the garden. So if you put your time in to work in the garden, you get part of the produce. But most of it, like I said, will be going to the 3 food pantries in Crawford County.
Can you provide us a contact number for you or for your cause that we can put on the record so that we have it?
Yes, I sure can.
What's the best way to get a hold of you?
Through my cell phone,
Okay.
636-524-1429.
Okay, and I just made a note. I'll call the water supervisor tomorrow, get his thoughts on it, on how that might work. He may have to take a look around and see what's there, what's accessible, and how
Okay.
we might be able to meter it separately.
We did leave space between where we plowed and the road on all sides.
Okay,
So in case you guys needed some kind of room for something.
right. Well, let me see what he thinks about it, see what kind of plan he thinks we might need to make it happen, and then we'll be in touch.
Okay, because I have some more business I have to contact about fencing and some other stuff that are supposed to go on there.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Lance, do you have any concerns?
Several, the first one is, how do you ever get water there, where it's not on somebody's meter?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to talk to Lenny about it and see what he thinks, and I don't know if we can do anything, but that's the best way to start.
Right, well, I already called Dig Right, and they did mark off all the lines, and they said Wednesday night before they texted me that, all the lines have been marked, so.
Okay. Well, let me talk to our water supervisor, see what he thinks, and then I'll get with Lance, and first of all, there's a way, I don't know, I'm gonna have to make some phone calls.
Okay,
So we'll definitely look into it.
okay, thank you.
I know that there are several municipalities that have city gardens like that available, where, I don't know whether or not any of those are on private property.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. So we'll look into it.
Okay.
Anyone else here this evening for citizens participation before we move on? Okay, hearing none. Let's go ahead and make a motion to go ahead and open the public hearing for the planning and zoning. Is there a motion to open the hearing?
Motion.
Motion by Martin. Second by Honey. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Okay, public hearing is now open at 6:06. This public hearing is here for anybody who wishes to speak for or against, has questions, comments, or concerns about any of the proposed amendments to the zoning regulations. This has been posted, the information has been available, and really all this is as far as pertaining to putting our ordinances online and having to make some changes. Is that correct?
We just had to make some amendments and put them up to code.
Amendments and make them up to code. So I've had some folks ask me, like, well, are you changing the process on how the planning and zoning is done? No, there's nothing like that. Everything's still going to be the same. Just had to make some amendments to our current codes to get them up to date, and then we're going to work on getting all of our codes online.
And follow statute.
And follow statute, of course, absolutely. Most importantly.
I didn't take that.
So is there anybody here that has any questions, comments, or concerns about the proposed ordinance changes that will possibly be made? Okay. Hearing none, is there a motion to close the public hearing? Motion by Grady, second by Holt. All in favor say aye. Opposed. Public hearing closed at 6:07. And we will get to that later on in the agenda. Regular meeting minutes of November 1st, 2022. Motion to approve. Motion by Holt, second by Grady. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Abstained by Martin and Honey. Treasurer's report and bills to be paid. Before we approve the packet of bills, I do have, this is included in the packet. Just wanted to make you guys aware, these are two bills for repairs, budgeted repairs at the treatment plant. In case anybody had any questions, since they are kind of high volume bills. We have one that needs to be conducted and completed by Xylem Water Solutions. Not exactly sure what they did. Looks like they had put in some new parts. The total for this bill is $3,906.05. Second one by same company. Again, looks like some more needed repairs that had to be done out of the treatment plant. This one totaling $7,870.93. So these two bills, the total invoice is $11,776.98. Again, these are included in the bills to be paid. So I don't think we need a separate motion for those, do we, since they're included in the bills to be paid already? Or do we need a separate motion for those due to them being of any certain amount?
I don't think so.
Just wanted to bring those to your attention and explain those. With that being said, is there a motion to go ahead and pay the bills this evening? Motion by Grady. Second by Hope. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Bills paid. We do have a planning and zoning recommendation. There was a planning and zoning meeting held. It was the first public hearing for the rezoning of a piece of property that is located, on the corner of West Spencer and Shaw Street, owned by T&S Hudson Enterprises. The proposed change is to change this from R1 to R2 multifamily. Mr. Hudson was present at the public hearing. He had drawings and schematics and proposed plans. He presented those to the Planning and Zoning Committee. There was no members of the public present to ask any questions or to speak for or against his proposed zoning changes. It was the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Board to go ahead and approve the necessary changes. However, the next step would be for us to, I guess, accept their recommendation and then make a motion to post a second public hearing that would be held at the next city council meeting. And as long as we're okay with how that went, we can make a second motion to approve the changes, correct? So we need a motion to go ahead, Lance, and accept the initial recommendation from P&Z, their approval, or do we just need to go ahead and make a motion and take this to a second public hearing?
I think you just need to take a motion to do a second public hearing.
So I don't need a motion to approve this first and then move on?
So we've heard their recommendation. Their recommendation is to take it to the council to approve those zoning changes. So what we would do now then, the council, if you would, I'd entertain a motion for a second public hearing for this subject property to be held at the next city council meeting, which will be Tuesday, December 13th. Tuesday. Yeah, we'll get it in the paper, and we have enough time to be in the paper. We're only going to have one December meeting rather than the typical first and third. We're going to plan on having that meeting on Tuesday the 13th. So we will get that in the paper for Tuesday the 13th at 6:05. You have a motion by Greg.
Second.
By my whole. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. All right, that will be posted. Everybody be ready for that for December 13th. Police chief report or police captain report.
I don't think you have anything for you.
Okay. And I know on some of the nuisances, we've had a lot of attention on the home at 3004 Chestnut. Ms. Sharon's been here a few times speaking about it. I think Ben and Bob Baldwin have spoke with the actual property owner as well as the individual that's staying on that property. I think they've came to a pretty clear understanding that we're not going to continue to allow this. And I think that notice was given for that individual to either have the necessary fixes made or vacate the property by Friday, I believe. And it sounds like everybody's on the same page and everybody's pretty understanding what needs to take place. So hopefully that one will be resolved. And Captain, if you have any issues, just let me know. But we'll see where that one goes. We had another nuisance that notices of violation were sent certified mail over off West End. There was an individual living in a camper. We know that we can't live in campers. They also had their water and their sewer just running out into the ground. We know we can't do that. After notice of violation for zoning violations and the actual sewer violation, it sounds to me like the property owner is aware that some changes have to be made there, and that is supposed to be resolved basically immediately. Yes, sir.
We went there yesterday. The lady's the one living in the camper. She's now living in an apartment in town here.
Okay, very good. So it sounds like a couple of these are getting wrapped up, along with, I know, Cameron's staying pretty busy chasing down some other stuff.
Yeah, we got to do it.
Got it, anyone wish to say? Okay, well, I'm sure Cameron has a copy of that, and maybe we can get an update on that one at the next meeting. All right, 205 Shaw Street. 205 Shaw Street has been in the newspaper. All notices have been served on this piece of property. Nothing has been done. The house is still not inhabitable. From here, the next step would be council to ask your permission to post in the paper a notice for a condemnation hearing. I believe that would be the correct way of doing it. I would ask that we post that condemnation hearing for the December 13th meeting as well. How would we want to do that for a timeline? If we know we have a planning and zoning at 6:05, maybe just do it at 6:15 or something, or what's your recommendation there?
I would say 6:15 would be sufficient.
Okay, we can always Negative. I'm pretty confident that the planning and zoning will be pretty easy. What this will allow us to do, council, is have a conversation that evening, allow members of the public or even the property owner to be here. The property owner, again, has received all notices. This is not the first time he's hearing about this. It's made it to the newspaper, everything to this point. But by then, that would allow us the opportunity to have a public hearing on record, and then, if needed, make a motion to move forward with demolition of the property, or to accept a plan for somebody to improve the property, or whatever we might come across that night. Okay? But to have it on record and to make it official, we need a motion to go ahead and have a combination hearing for 205 Shaw Street, December 13th at 6:15 p.m.
Motion.
Motion by Grady, second by Tony. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. And I will say that we did get a letter recently, turned into Public Works from an individual that says that they have entered into a contract to purchase that property, and that they have plans on rehabbing that property. So I will be contacting that individual and letting them know of this combination hearing and suggesting that they be here with a plan if that's really the case. Right, and bring a contract. Yeah, I'll have that conversation with them because we're gonna need to see some proof.
Right.
So, we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Mr. Mayor, I would
Yes, sir.
suggest, we also need to notify the city building inspector that he needs to be present for that meeting. If we have a condemnation hearing,
Absolutely.
he'll have to give testimony on the record.
Can let Bob know? We'll have him here.
Do we know anything on the place on Grand with the one on West Washington?
So, West Washington, I haven't heard anything more on. I'll call Bob. I know the lady was in town from California to get some personal belongings out of the home, so we'll have to figure out what happened with that. Brand, I'm not sure.
If you haven't seen her since then, yeah,
Yeah, or she took her stuff and went back to California and might be saying which one was it. What was that address on Grand?
1104 maybe, 1103, 1104.
I'll find out.
Right behind right next door to the sawmill.
Oh, gotcha. On that end of Grand, at 66.
Oh.
Yeah.
East Grand.
I'll see what we got going on there. At least we're making progress with some of these things. All right. I see there's that. Okay. Moving on to number 9, bill number 2076. Can we get the motion for the first reading of bill number 2076? Motion by Grady. Second by Holt. All in favor say aye. Opposed? First reading, please.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Cuba, Missouri, on behalf of said city, to enter into an amendment to an agreement with Missouri Department of Transportation for a block grant for improvements and renovations to the Cuba Municipal Airport.
Heard first reading, bill number 2076. Is there a motion to approve? Motion by Grady. Second by Martin. Poll the council, please.
Copeland.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Tony. Grady. Holt.
Okay, bill number 2076 moves with the motion of, your vote 5-0. Motion for the second reading of bill number 2076. Motion by Grady. Second by Martin. All in favor say aye. Opposed. Second reading, please.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Cuba, Missouri, on behalf of said city, to enter into an amendment to an agreement with Missouri Department of Transportation for a block grant for improvements and renovations to the Cuba Municipal Airport.
Okay, for the second reading of bill number 2076, motion to accept.
Motion.
Motion by Honey, second by Grady. Poll the council, please.
Holt.
Yes.
Grady.
Yes.
Tony.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Copeland.
Okay, second reading moves with the vote 5-0. Bill number 2076 is now special ordinance 866. And from what we discussed earlier, after the public hearing, this would be bill number 2077, going forward with to amend the code of ordinances. Is there a motion for the first reading, bill number 2077?
Motion.
Motion by Honey, second by Grady. All in favor say aye. Opposed? First reading, please.
An ordinance adopting and enacting a new code of ordinances of the city of Cuba, county of Crawford, state of Missouri, establishing the same, providing for the repeal of certain ordinances not included therein, except as herein expressly provided, providing for the manner of amending such code of ordinances, providing penalty for the violation thereof, and providing when this ordinance shall become effective.
Okay, heard first reading of bill number 2077, motion to accept. Motion by Grady. Second by Holt. Poll the council, please.
Cobain. Martin.
Yes.
Tony.
Yes.
Grady. Holt.
Okay, first reading moves with vote 5-0. Motion for a second reading, bill number 2077. Motion by Holt, second by Grady. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Second reading.
An ordinance adopting and enacting a new code of ordinances of the city of Cuba, county of Crawford, state of Missouri, establishing the same, providing for the repeal of certain ordinances not included therein, except as herein expressly provided, providing for the manner of amending such code of ordinances, providing penalty for the violation thereof, and providing when this ordinance shall become effective.
Heard a second reading, bill number 2077, motion to accept. Motion by Holt, second by Grady. Poll the council, please.
Holt.
Yes.
Grady.
Yes.
Tony.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Cobain.
Okay, second reading moves with a vote of 5-0. That is now general ordinance 1216. That was a lot of words in that one for you.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, council. Old unfinished new business, Kev?
Couple things. Again, I'm gonna say it again, once for Citizen City Cuba over here in Red Subdivision. Where we have plans, Hartford Engineer. We got the water problem over there, we keep saying we got plans, we got our dirt drawn up, we're gonna hear it next week, next month. We're in November, we're still where we're at 6 months ago, or more.
Cameron Schweiss has said that he'll have plans for us and that will be sent over. What did he say, Lee?
He said that he has the final plans drawn and he's sending them to Lance soon so that they can meet with the other parties.
And I will forward to the city as soon as I get it.
So it's in the works. Correct?
Another thing. Apparently we had an audit, or we didn't have, I think we did have, but, and I've never heard back from the ladies, about the audit. Have we had a report, have we had not a report, or what's going on there?
Are you talking about the state audit?
I'm talking about
The petition audit?
Huh?
The petition audit?
Yeah.
We don't do anything until we get back from them.
She has been in contact with me just within the last 3 weeks. She said that they are hoping to have it wrapped up. She did ask for a couple things because 2 of the gentlemen that were working with her originally are not there any longer. So she had to get a couple things again, but she said she's hoping within the next couple weeks to have it all wrapped up. So we have no final report as of now.
But there's nothing more we do, we just wait for them to conclude what they were doing and then they'll come to us.
Not bad.
We pay for it or do this. Anything else?
Oh, yeah, I wish all the citizens and everybody, happy Thanksgiving and a safe one.
Very good.
That's it.
Miss Debbie?
I do.
Oh, no.
What? Mark this one down. I think that since Amendment 3 passed, I read that they were going to tax that at 6% and municipalities can add 3 to that.
That is correct, yeah.
I believe that that'd be something that we would probably want to take care of.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know that there's gonna be anyone that's gonna have distribution license in town, but we don't wanna be.
All of that's gonna take place, but it's gonna probably take place in about 3 or 4 months.
Right.
Using the medical marijuana, it took them almost 6 months from the time that it passed before they started issuing licenses because they had to create the framework.
Sure.
I don't think it will take quite that much time this time, but the process by which they go through and accept bids for who's going to get what licenses and when, I suspect that there will probably be several primers between now and that time for municipal attorneys to figure out what the heck that's going to look like, since it's passed, it's now part of the Constitution. But how it gets put into practice at this point is anybody's guess.
What would the city need to do to establish the city tax rate on that?
We will probably have to have an ordinance specifically to put in place that sales tax.
Okay.
That thing was 39 pages long. Is there grow regulations in there, do you know? people gonna be able to grow.
You have to apply for a license to grow it, and you're limited to how much you can grow.
How many plants you can have?
Right.
And they have to write a whole new section of the Code of State Regulations by which sellers and buyers, and it's a miserable experience.
Well, as it gets closer, I do agree with Warren, when people start getting awarded what do you call it, dispensaries. I mean, if we can tax it up to 3%, I say we tax it up to 3%, might as well benefit the best we can from it. People are gonna buy it anyway.
My suspicion is that every municipality in the state of Missouri will pass that tax.
Anything else, sir?
No.
One thing I really have, again, is remember the next meeting will be held on Tuesday, December 13th. We will have those public hearings. Monday, November the 28th, which is already in the newspaper, but also for the council, for those who are interested, including you, Mr. Grady, for the planning and zoning meeting that evening. That'll be the first public hearing for the Stubblefield proposed planning and zoning changes. So after that evening, that'll be coming across the council's desk, whatever that recommendation might be, probably at the first January meeting. So just kind of keep that in mind. There's a few things in the horizon of planning and zoning, a few things in the works. Outside of that, I believe City Hall and PW is closing Wednesday at noon, and then they will reconvene on Monday the 28th. So everybody have a happy Thanksgiving, like Kevin said. Hope we all enjoy some time with our families, and then get back here and finish up some business in the next few weeks. However, we're not done yet tonight. Motion to enter into. Oh, sorry. You had some old unfinished business. Go ahead.
So I have some invoices from Fletcher Reinhardt. They are all signed. They are all within the limits that Andy can sign for. They're just all broke up. Tanya, the comptroller, just asked that I get a total and make sure that you are all aware of the total that it's coming to. All of these for the Roots subdivision project total $22,752.70. Like I said, they are signed, they have POs. She just wanted the council aware and the approval that you know that it's all coming to this. Yeah, and I think what they're doing, like the polls.
It's a lot of polls, a lot of lines. This is a budgeted project.
It is a budgeted project.
He's been getting materials in a little bit here, a little bit there, rather than doing them individually. Tanya wanted to put them all together under one project. That's why we have this $22,000 figure for the job, and she just wanted that to be brought to our attention and approved it separately. So what we're doing here is we're just looking for a motion to accept and pay these bills. Motion by Grady, second by Holt. All in favor, say aye. Opposed. Motion to enter into executive session. Motion by Holt, second by Grady. Will the council please?
Copeland. Martin. Tony.